Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into an ancient tale, a story whispered through time about a nation whose rise to power was as legendary as their ultimate downfall. It's a powerful reminder that even the mightiest can fall if they forget their true purpose. So buckle up, because we're heading to the golden sands of ancient Arabia to uncover the fate of Qaum-e-Aad. Imagine, if you will, a civilization that defied imagination. Long, long ago, nestled in the vast, sun-drenched deserts, lived Qaum-e-Aad. These weren't just ordinary people. They were giants, both in stature and ambition. Picture men and women of immense strength towering over others, their voices echoing through valleys as they strode with unmatched confidence. Their homes weren't simple dwellings. They were engineering marvels, carved directly into the heart of mountains, magnificent structures that whispered tales of their power. Their palaces, they didn't just reach for the sky, they seemed to touch the clouds themselves, monuments to their unparalleled wealth and influence. They possessed riches beyond anything you could dream of, a boundless bounty that seemed to stretch as far as their desert horizons. This incredible prosperity bred an unshakable belief within them. No one, absolutely no one, could ever defeat them. Their hearts, once perhaps filled with gratitude, gradually swelled with immense pride. This pride, like a slow-burning ember, consumed their sense of humility until they completely forgot the source of all their blessings, Allah. The one who had bestowed upon them everything they possessed, the fertile lands that yielded abundant harvests, the strong bodies that accomplished great feats, and an endless stream of blessings that powered their civilization. But instead of turning to him in thanks, they turned away. In a heartbreaking twist of fate, they began to worship idols. Not living beings, not even abstract concepts of divinity, but lifeless creations of their own hands. Statues, fashioned from stone and wood. They bowed before these silent, immobile figures, foolishly believing that these crude carvings could somehow protect them, could grant them favor, or could sustain their immense power. Their arrogance grew, festering like a wound, until it poisoned their entire society. Anyone who dared to speak of Allah, anyone who reminded them of their Creator, was met with ridicule, scorn, and outright mockery. They laughed at the notion of a higher power, convinced they were the ultimate architects of their own destiny. But Allah, in His boundless mercy and wisdom, never abandons His creation without a chance. To this proud and misguided nation, He sent a noble prophet, a beacon of truth amidst their darkening pride. His name was Hud, peace be upon him. Hud A.S. stood before his people, a lone voice of reason in a sea of arrogance, and delivered a simple, profound message. With unwavering conviction he pleaded, "O my people, worship Allah. You have no God but Him." He gently reminded them of the path they had strayed from, urging them to embrace humility, to cease their oppression of the weak and vulnerable among them, and to remember to thank Allah for the very strength and blessings they so proudly displayed. But how did they respond? Did they listen? Did they reflect? No. Their hearts were hardened, their minds clouded by their hubris. They merely laughed in his face, their booming voices echoing with derision. "Who is stronger than us?" they scoffed. "No storm, no power in this world could ever hope to destroy us. You speak of an unseen God, but we see our own might." Their words dripped with contempt, an arrogant defiance that sealed their fate. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months. The once fertile lands of Qaum-e-Aad began to show the first ominous signs of change. The skies above their magnificent cities, once producers of life-giving rain, grew dry, then parched. No rain fell. The mighty rivers which had nourished their crops and quenched their thirst began to dwindle, their currents slowing to a trickle, then drying up completely, leaving cracked earth in their wake. Their lush crops, once symbols of their prosperity, withered and turned to dust, blowing away in the dry desert winds. The famine and drought intensified, but still their stubbornness persisted. Prophet Hud, A.S., witnessing their suffering, offered them another chance, a path to redemption. "Seek forgiveness from your Lord," he implored, his voice filled with compassion, "and he will send you abundant rain, and he will increase your strength." He offered them a way out, a chance to turn back before it was too late. Yet even in the face of impending disaster, they only mocked him more. "You bring us nothing but misfortune," they sneered, blaming him for the very calamities their own arrogance had invited. They refused to acknowledge their transgressions, choosing instead to double down on their pride. Then, one fateful day, a sight appeared on the horizon that sent a ripple of excitement through the parched land. A dark, colossal cloud began to move slowly, deliberately, toward their valley. Hope surged through the desperate population. They cheered and shouted, their voices filled with renewed optimism. "Look, rain is coming! Our prayers have been answered!" They believed their suffering was finally over, that the heavens had relented. But what they saw was not a cloud of mercy. It was a harbinger of something far more terrifying. This was a cloud of punishment. As it drew closer, the air grew heavy, an unsettling stillness preceding the storm. Then, without warning, a furious, icy wind erupted, howling through their land. It began as a whisper, quickly escalating into a roar, growing stronger and more violent with every passing moment. It tore through their proud civilization, ripping apart their mighty buildings with ease, structures they believed were invincible. It uprooted their ancient trees, sending them tumbling like twigs. And in a horrifying display of raw power, it lifted their strongest men, those proud, giant figures, into the air as if they were nothing more than dry, brittle leaves, tossing them around like playthings. For 7 nights and 8 days, the storm raged relentlessly. The desert screamed with the fury of the wind, a relentless, terrifying ordeal that knew no pause. No one could escape its wrath. Their bodies, once symbols of immense strength, fell to the ground like hollow, discarded trunks of palm trees, scattered across the desolate sands. Their great cities, once bustling with life and arrogance, were obliterated, reduced to rubble and dust. Their pride, once so towering, had turned into the very dust that now buried their ruins. When the wind finally, mercifully stopped, an eerie, profound silence descended upon the valley. All that remained was the desolate landscape, a testament to what once was and what now was no more. Their great cities were gone, swallowed by the sands and the fury of the storm. Only Prophet Hud, A.S., and a small group of faithful believers remained, protected by the very Allah whom the Qaum-e-Aad had scorned. They were spared, a living testament to divine protection for those who remain humble and steadfast. Allah himself tells us in the glorious Qur'an, "And as for Ad, they were destroyed by a furious, bitter wind, which he imposed upon them for 7 nights and 8 days continuously." This isn't just an ancient story, it's a timeless reminder, a profound lesson for all of us. No matter how strong, how powerful, how wealthy, or how advanced a nation or an individual becomes, if they turn away from their Creator, if they let arrogance fill their hearts, if they oppress others and forget gratitude, their end is certain. It might not be a physical storm, but spiritual, moral, or societal decay will surely follow. But for those who choose a different path, for those who remain humble, who remember Allah in their prosperity, and who walk in faith and righteousness, Allah protects them. Just as He protected His noble Prophet Hud, A.S., and the small band of believers amidst the raging storm, He protects those who hold on to truth and humility. The story of Qaum-e-Aad is a powerful lesson in humility, gratitude, and the consequences of unchecked pride. It reminds us that true strength lies not in worldly possessions or physical might, but in our connection to the divine and our commitment to justice and humility. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through history. If you found this story impactful, please hit that like button, share it with someone who might benefit, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more thought-provoking content like this. Your support means the world. Until next time, stay humble, stay grateful, and keep seeking knowledge.